Okay, so continuing on with this fine poster, you can see just a recap. I have Jafar right here. For the most part, he's inked. He's looking great. However, I'm going to work on Governor Ratcliffe from Pocahontas now, and hopefully the audio is good. If you hear this and you would please be kind enough to comment, just let me know what you think. I've been working really hard on trying to make this sound good right out of the box without having to do any kind of post-processing and in advance of live streaming, where you'll just be able to watch me work in real time. As fun as that might be, like watching paint dry. But in any case, hopefully this sounds good. I would love a comment, and of course like and subscribe and all that good stuff. But Ratcliffe is down here. He is the third from the left, next to Gaston. Hopefully you can tell who these people are just from the little outline. And I have some reference. It's not, you can't see it. You can't actually see the reference. It's on a pure ref screen. It's not even on a second monitor. It's just the way I've got it set up right now. All you're going to see is the Clip Studio main window. So you're not even seeing like the layers and the tool properties and the brushes and all of that. If I have something really interesting that I want to show, I'll do it in more of a traditional way, where I like to kind of show the panels and try to make it look a little bit fancy. But if it's just me working on something, I'm just going to work on it. So yeah, Ratcliffe is over here, and I've got some images of him on pure ref. So that's pretty cool. Almost all of the images, he's facing toward camera left or screen left, and I'm working on right. So I could flip the canvas, but at the same time, you know, he kind of has a look. All the Disney characters and villains especially have sort of like a specific look to them, which is so cool. Like, they do such a good job. I don't know if they do anymore, but at least back in the day when these movies were coming out, they sure did. And I'm going to get rid of that. I don't need anybody else. I don't need Hades or purple. I just need these. And I've got pencil, so let's go ahead and just start with, you know, I'm just going to use a pen. I guess I could use pencil. Let me try a pencil. Let's see how this looks. Well, you know, whatever. All right. And also, by the way, I'm not putting, at least right now, I'm not going to be putting on any kind of timer. I'm just, anytime I work on this, I'm just going to hit record and I'm going to just upload it. So the timestamps on the videos is probably going to be pretty accurate. Although, you know, there might be some little bit of a lost time because I am talking, but probably not too much. And I don't have, for Ratcliffe, I don't actually have like a specific kind of pose that I'm going off of. Like, I'm not, you know, basically copying something. So it might not look right out of the gate. And I don't have any reference for like this pose with his hand, but you know, so we'll see how much of this I can do while I'm on stream. I don't want to do a whole bunch of, you know, pausing and, he's got this really big lower lip, and then he's obviously got this mustache, but because it's a cartoon and specifically it's a Disney, he's got a little kind of a goatee, or not. It's not a goatee. What is it? A Fu Manchu mustache or something? And, anyway, he's, what was I saying? Anyway, these characters, I mean, they have like really squishy and malleable faces. Like, they can, and that's the thing I love about these Disney characters and animation in general, is that you can really just squash and stretch, and you can just kind of go crazy with with everything that you're doing. So you can't see the reference that I have on my screen, unfortunately, but you know. Oh, also I did finally get faster internet. So it's 1 gig. I haven't done a speed test, but it's the fastest I can get. And if nothing else, it's going to make uploading these to YouTube a lot quicker, and probably the live stream is going to be better. But this is just this is just a straight up, what do you call it? Straight up recording, a screen recording. So the internet speed shouldn't have anything to do with this at all. And I am just, kind of sketching it based on a bunch of reference, but I'm not copying any kind of specific pose or expression. So I'm not going to probably get to the inking stage, like the finalizing stage of this, because I'm probably either going to need to find more reference, or I'm just going to have to take a picture of myself in the pose that I want, and then use that and just kind of try to sort of, what do you call it? Try to make myself into this character. So I have not spent time drawing really any of these characters. I can draw it like I did with Jafar. If I have a picture of him, I can do a pretty good job of making it look like the character just in my style. But if I'm kind of eyeballing it, I don't have, weeks of practice where I'm like, okay, like the back of my hand, I know exactly what this character looks like. So, because if you've drawn a character 500 times, you pretty much know what it's going to look like. But I haven't done that with any of these characters. So I'm just kind of getting some sketching time out. I'm just kind of like roughing in, and then it's kind of annoying because when I go to look online for reference, or if I take pictures, that technically counts as time working on this poster, even though I'm not counting it as far as being on YouTube or anything like that. But the actual time that I'll be spending drawing, that part will all be drawing and coloring and inking and all that, like the actual drawing process, that will all be on YouTube. But sort of some of this process where I'm gathering reference, or, maybe kind of preparing things, like that's not going to count. And I guess technically it does count, but I can only do so much. So I'm basically just going to do this as counting how long it's taken me to actually do the artwork, if that makes sense. And I do want to point out really quick too, that, for example, there's 17 minutes of missing video that I didn't upload. I still have it. I still have that. When I made the 30-minute clip with the timer and everything, it was like 47 minutes. So I basically just cut it at the 30-minute mark, and I still have 17 minutes left over, but I don't really want to upload 17 minutes. Just trust me, it was 17 minutes to finish the sketch from the 30-minute video to my previous quote unquote live stream. So that's all I can really say, is that's how long it took between that. That's the missing amount of time. And I haven't calculated this at all. Like I have ideas that this is going to take like 70 or 80 hours to do this poster, which maybe that's kind of insane. Maybe that's like way too much time, but as long as at the end I feel like I'm pretty satisfied with what I have as a result, that's all that really matters. I got no time limit. I got no deadline. I just want to do the best poster that I can at the end of the day. I don't want to, rush through this and kind of get a result that I'm like, could have done better. Well, if I could have done better, then I should have done better. At least that's how I feel about it. Because like I said, there's really there's no time limit. There's no deadline. So nobody's, forcing me to finish this. I would say more than anything, it's just, am I going to get tired of this because I've been working on it for so long that I just I just don't want to do this anymore. This is I've been working on this for whatever, 3 months or 2 months. It's like, there's so many other things I want to do. Well, yeah, but I think this one is going to hold my attention long enough. I've done plenty of posters, and I've done plenty of comic book pages as well. Sometimes they do take a long time. It just depends on, it depends on a lot of different factors. But for right now, I'm just kind of trying to sketch out what I feel like it would look like. And again, I don't have any reference for what this would look like if this were an actual Disney pose. So I don't think this face looks correct at all. I think it looks pretty bad, and that's okay. I just, I'm just trying to kind of sketch some things out and kind of get an idea of where things should be, and at least just getting started with this character. So this is the black part, and I'm going to zoom out here in a second. I feel like this is maybe it's not too long. It's hard to gauge. No, I think that looks pretty good. And it's funny because I can totally tell that this is Governor Ratcliffe. I think everybody could pretty much tell. And he's got this huge barrel chest. And then it actually kind of gets smaller as it goes down to where his sachet or his belt is. And I think this needs to be farther out there. Something like that. Maybe lift up the... So yeah, this is, I'm just kind of roughing in his pose and his position. And then I really want to nail his face. I really want to nail his look. And he's got that, it's his lower lip and his mustache. I think that really, really give him his appearance, his uniqueness. Because again, all of these characters, man, they're so cool. They're so cool. I'm probably going to have to do a picture of myself in this pose with his finger up by his lip or his mouth. Cause it's a tricky one. It is. And there's nothing wrong with using reference, of course. Use it if you have it. And if you can make it yourself, even better. But it is tricky for me. And you're not going to see it because of the way this is set up. And that's partly because this is what I've found works, but I don't think it's the official way. I don't know if I'm supposed to set up a different scene for every single sort of combination of streaming setup. If I had the webcam in the bottom and Clip Studio in the main one. And then I have a second scene set up where I have my webcam where Clip Studio is now. So it's more focused on me. If I'm just going to talk and I'm not actually showing any artwork, I might as well be more or less full screen. I have that set up as well, but is that even the correct way to do it? And actually his sachet or his belt or whatever wouldn't even be shown down here. But so would I have a bunch of maybe 5 or 6 scenes where I have the webcam in focus. I have the Clip Studio in focus with the webcam separately as a small window. And then I'd have maybe another one where I have a Chrome browser window where I might be looking at some kind of news story, or, you know, um, what else would there be? Maybe if I were ever playing a video game, would that be its own window and another scene altogether? And then if I'm watching YouTube or in a video, like a YouTube video that I've downloaded to play, so I don't have to actually go to YouTube, like, would that be another scene? It's funny because there's so many tutorials online, but it's just like, it feels like so much work to try to figure everything out yourself. It's like, why can't I just have like a professional who's done it for not a professional, but someone who's done it for a long time, just like come over and sit down or do a Zoom call and just kind of walk me through everything and answer all my questions. And, I'm sure that would be possible, but I can't imagine how much it would cost for like an hour of like one-on-one setup time. And I'm not interested in that. I think it's pretty easy. You just need to spend the time working through the tutorials and getting practice. Cause I think it's better if you know what you're doing anyway. I'm looking at other reference right now, trying to get an idea of what his nose looks like, because he definitely has this, it's like it really juts out high, and then it kind of goes down maybe like that. Maybe that's a better way to look at it. And this part of his nose, see, if I drew him like 200 times, I mean, he's such a cartoon, I would probably have a really good understanding of the way this guy looks. And so he's got this, it's kind of square down at the bottom. And then he doesn't really, this isn't his jawline. This is actually the part of his purple, whatever you call this. Gosh, what are these things called? Does anybody know what these are called? Because I have no idea. I can't really figure it out. But yeah, I'm going to need to get some reference probably for his hand in that pose. Probably also I'm going to take my own photo to use as his expression with that pose, like along with the pose. But let me zoom in just so you can kind of see it. I'm seeing it full screen, and I know my full screen is like decreased in size to fit into that window. So I need to kind of keep in mind how you are seeing it. But this is what it looks like mostly right now. It's a little bit messy. And then, of course, this is Gaston. Now, right now I have is like, I'm just going to sketch this really quick. You can see I have it where like his chest is, like this. But what I think I'm going to do instead is I'm going to change it to where, this is his back, and then this is his belt buckle, and he would be, if you can see, so instead of this being his left hand, where it would be like, like that, this would be his thumb. Instead of like that, it would be more like, I'm just looking at my own thumb and hand. It would be more like this. So this would be his right his right arm, and this would be his back. So that's, I'll just leave it there. I'll just leave it there. It's not a big deal. Let me just call this Ratcliffe and Gaston pencil. And then I'm going to add a mask. I'm going to do this with a mask just in case I change my mind. But I want to be able to kind of see it a little bit more clearly. This is kind of tripping me up. It's kind of confusing me as far as what am I looking at. I'll just get rid of it over here on Ratcliffe as well. I might as well. This way I can kind of see what I actually was doing while also still keeping the other characters' sketches intact. So that's not bad. I think that looks pretty good. So this is, so if that's, yeah, I don't know. Maybe his belt needs to be lower like this down here. I'm going to get rid of that. See, I'm trying to get rid of things that are kind of causing me problems and making me see things differently than I want to, because it's kind of throwing me off. And I don't feel like his face should be there. I don't know. Should it be here or here? Or should it be rotated? Yeah, I'm going to have to figure that out. I'm just going to delete it. But the point is that this is going to be, I think this is going to be his back. So this would be like his shoulder. And then this would be, I don't have any reference up right now for Gaston, so it's probably going to look really stupid. I should have some kind of reference for him, but you know, for right now, I'm just like, I know usually these characters have gigantic heads, and he's got his long hair. So, whatever. This looks really bad. What does he have? I don't know. I'll get back to it later when I have. It doesn't look like Gaston at all. It's kind of funny. Let me see if I try to make him his head a little bit smaller, because I want his body to look big, because that's usually the way these guys look. Even though he's got like a big jaw, his head is not that big. Move it over here. And I think for right now, that's going to be fine. Yeah, his head's definitely not that big. It looks way bigger than Ratcliffe's, and that's not my intention. So anyway, so for right now, this is where I'm going to end it. I have no idea how long this has been, but probably half hour, 25, 30 minutes, something like that. And let me see, 23 minutes, 24. So yeah, that's pretty good for a little almost half hour session. And I'll be back next time. But again, guys, if you are still listening, give me a quick comment on how you feel the audio is. I really don't want to do post-processing. I really don't want to feel like I'm yelling, and I don't want it to clip. So hopefully all the settings are relatively dialed in to where it's a pleasant experience. But again, like, comment, subscribe. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.